the vehicle. Now the jaws of life, there are two different parts to the jaws of life. One is a set of spreaders, and the other one is cutters. Now, anytime we conduct this kind of an operation, especially in the field on newer vehicles, the airbags are powered by cylinders. They have sensors in the bumpers, in the doors, and all over the place on these vehicles so that they activate for side curtain airbags. The sensors are all on the side of the vehicle. Well, a lot of times the cylinders will be located right where we're going to be making cuts. So you can see the danger when we start making cuts onto a pressurized cylinder. Not only for the rescuer, but also for our victim inside. Now, in this particular vehicle, this Jeep Cherokee, there's no airbags involved in this. But what we've done is, through training and practice and procedures, we do what's called a peel and key. We'll actually pull apart the inside of the vehicle, and there's just the headliner or the plastic right inside the door, and take a look and see if there is a cylinder inside. Now, during this time, we're taking care of the patient as well. The patient gets treatment the entire time. We're going to be starting IVs, giving them different medication based on what the doctor prescribes over the radio, and putting on a seat collar and preparing him to be placed on a backboard and then expedited to an ambulance. Now, our awaiting ambulance is going to take our patient to the awaiting helicopter. Now, sometimes we'll drop a helicopter right on the freeway. Sometimes we'll put them in a cul-de-sac or a park. It's all based on what we have for overhead. As you see in Rancho Cucamonga, there's been a number of reasons why we put a lot of our overhead wires underground. One is the wind, but the other is also safety concern. It allows us to be able to put helicopters almost anywhere, parks included. But on a Saturday morning, dropping a helicopter on a park may not be the greatest thing because you're going to displace a whole lot of folks to do that. So sometimes it can become a little bit tricky. Now, as you can see, they've already made a couple of cuts. And what they're doing right there is what's called a big door. What we'll do is we'll take the center column from the divider in between the two doors and cut that column out, which gives us the big door. Now you can see as they make their final cuts, the firefighters will pull that door as far out of the way as possible. What we like to do on any traffic accident is actually pull the metal away from the patient rather than pull the patient away from the metal. By doing that, what we do is reduce the amount of times we have to move the patient, thereby reducing the amount of injury that person's received. Sometimes we'll have a bleeding spleen, or we'll have cervical injury. And every time we move the patient, there's a potential for greater injury. So as the crews continue to work on that door, our patient continues to be able to get some medical treatment. And as long as the patient can tolerate the amount of extrication required, we're going to go ahead and continue to work on the best route to get the patient out. But if that patient's condition deteriorates to the point where he needs to get out immediately, then we're going to only do what is required. And that's called a risk-gain analysis, where we have to balance out the risk with what we have for our patient's condition. So now the big door has been completed, but to go the extra mile, we were hoping to be able to show you some of the other things that we can do. So what they're going to do now is they're going to remove what's called the A-pillars. Now we've divided up vehicles into kind of more structural components. And on either side of the windshield, those are called pillars, very dense metal structures that will end up cutting. And you can see they've already cut the B pillar completely out. And it looks like we're going to take the entire roof off. Now, if we have to do much work under the dashboard, a lot of times dashboards after accidents, there's really not much there except plastic components, and they'll collapse on knees and on laps. And if there's been any side impact, a lot of times the floorboard will be compressed and feet will become entangled in the brake and gas pedals, and sometimes clutch pedals. And that requires a whole bunch more work. But on this one here, what we want to do is show you how we can make a convertible in rather short order, just for demonstration purposes. Now, if our driver here, if Chris tells us that he's unable to feel his feet, we are going to be taking that roof off. We want to reduce all manipulation possible on him, so he'll actually come straight out of that and right out over the top. But as you can see, the firefighters on this side are supporting the cut pillars and the entire roof structure. As that last cut is made, they'll take that complete roof section completely off, and you'll be able to see Chris there. Now, Chris is under the blanket because a lot of times, as we cut, there'll be little pieces of glass that can go into the eyes and those kind of things. So that's one of our main concerns, and that's why we put a person, firefighter, right inside with our patient. Now, if you're wondering about our jaws of life, you can see the hoses, they all come right off our fire truck. And those hoses can stretch out about 100, 150 feet. But if we're unable to get close enough, say we have a traffic accident where the vehicle's rolled over the side of the freeway and is now down an embankment, we do have portable generators and hydraulic pumps that we'll be able to use and disconnect our hose lines, connect it to this portable pump. And we'll be able to conduct this operation as far away from the vehicle as we can carry equipment. And here you can see our truck firefighter making the final cut. And this is a critical time here. What we don't want is that roof to collapse on our guys or on our patient. So what we do is, that last cut is made. And then they carefully take that roof top and place it down. Now, with those jaws of life, we're also able to cut the base of the seat if we needed to. Cut the base of the seat off and actually take the entire seat out with our patient on it. But in this case, we're going to be placing Chris on the backboard. And now you can see our access to our patient is terrific. If that car is totaled anyhow, there's really not much concern we're going to have for that condition of the vehicle. And that's whether it's a mid-80s Jeep Cherokee or a 2011 Porsche Carrera. You know, we really kind of treat the two the same because it's the person inside that really matters. That's what the insurance is for, if need be. So you see as he's placed on the backboard, he's got a seat collar on. And at this time, what is going through a captain's mind is, are my resources in place as this call is developing? So at this point, Captain Wells has already called for his ambulance, and his ambulance is waiting for him. And for our helicopter, we want to have them either at the landing zone site now, or we want to have them at a local station or somewhere where they're ready for them, so we don't have any resources waiting. And a lot of times that'll mean that we may have to go to the hospital by ground because our helicopter is still 5 minutes away in the air. We'll turn them away if we have to. The main goal is that we keep patient care is going to be our greatest concern. So here you can see the ambulance crew are the ones in the blue shirts, light blue shirts. And they assist us with patient packaging. And what we do is on that backboard, we strap the person down. Now that person will stay in the backboard all the way until they get cleared by the doctor in the hospital. And that means that they may have to keep them on that backboard for a CAT scan, for x-rays, until they can say, okay, you're